Hi, this video is for all protesters that will be attending the G20 summit this summer, and also for citizens that just might not be aware of what's going on. I'll start this off by just telling you about this morning how I saw in the Toronto Star. They're talking about a free speech zone that will be set up for the protesters at the G20. It would actually be a march starting at Queen's Park and will end at Trinity Bellwoods Park, which is about 2 kilometers, maybe a little bit more than the Metro Toronto Convention Center where the summit will be taking place. Now, this is a little scary to me because the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms clearly states that you have the right and freedom of peaceful assembly and the freedom of association. Now, if you are choosing to go to this protest and stay in your free speech zone, which is clearly against our rights and freedoms, you might as well just stay at home and protest from your living room couch. Now, the idea of putting these kinds of articles out is like a psyop. It's to make you feel that if you don't do what they say, that you're a criminal, when the real criminals are the ones telling you that you have to be in your free speech zone. There is no such thing as a zone. If you choose to accept that as reality, then you've pretty much just given up your right, which is one of the most important ones in a free society. Not to mention that this whole summit is on the taxpayers tab, and if you're paying for it, you should have the right to voice your opinion about it, whether you like it or not. You see, we had freedom of speech. Now we're going to freedom of speech zone. Then soon it's going to be shut the fuck up or you go to jail. Now, I suggest everyone go on the internet and type in the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. I went on Google and this came up as a PDF file. You can see after the first page, you look under fundamental freedoms where it actually tells you that you have the right to peaceful assembly, not the right to assemble in your free speech zone. And print this off, and instead of marching to that park, you all go down peacefully to the Metro Toronto Convention Center with these in your hand. And when the police tell you that, hey, you're outside of your zone, you don't have a right to be here, you say, don't worry, officer, I have a permit, and you show him your rights and freedoms as Canadian citizens. Chances are that they will be aggressive, they'll either beat you, or they'll whether tear gas you, or they'll shoot LRADs at you. Whatever they do, remember that you aren't a criminal. You are actually standing up for your rights. And you're exercising them. Remember, your rights are like muscles. If you don't exercise them, you lose them. Now, there will be provocateurs there that will engage in violence, probably start throwing things, start fights with the police. But remember that they're not with us. They're actually with the cops. Whether they are cops or they're working with the cops, they're on that side of the whole spectrum. Because they do nothing for our movement. They actually allow the cops to shut the whole protest down because they can just say, oh, we're all violent and all these kinds of things, and it makes us look bad, so they can put stories on the media, say, oh, look at all these crazy people, when it's just a small group that is they fight with the cops, they get arrested, and they probably let them go with a paycheck or whatever. Now, I'll be there videotaping everything that goes on, whether the police are just making aggressive actions on citizens or even the provocateurs. I'll try to get footage of them, see if I can get their faces, which they're probably covered. They're always wearing masks conveniently. And if they start putting citizens just for standing there demonstrating into that, it's a abandoned, or I don't know if it's abandoned or not, but it is a film studio that has been converted into like a holding cell for protesters that go outside of their zone. And if they just start throwing citizens there, for which clearly is your right, but they're saying you don't have it anymore, you are then becoming a political prisoner in Canada, which is totally, like, it's out there. It's pretty crazy, but it's true. We see it happening in the States, and now it's starting to happen in Canada. Just remember that you do have the right to do this. Don't let them think you're a criminal. Don't let them think that you're doing something wrong, because they are the actual criminals for telling you that you don't have the right. It's a foreign presence in Canada, and they're just enforcing these rules upon you, making you think that if you don't follow them, you're doing something wrong. We're not a bunch of homeless fools looking for handouts. We're actually tax-paying citizens that have concerns, and we're trying to expose the globalist agenda. And remember, don't be scared whether they choose to attack you or not. Even if they do arrest you and put you in a cell, remember, you've done nothing wrong. You've actually done a service to your country, because we can't just let them just say what we can do and what we can't do. Remember not to be violent. And they pretty much can't touch you. Well, they can, then they will, but in terms of being in the right and being in the wrong, I'll be there to film everything they do to these Canadian citizens, and I'll be releasing the footage. So remember, don't be afraid, and to go on to Google, you can get the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, and you could use that as your permit. Thank you, and peace to everyone, and remember, do not be afraid.